Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. I like all I do is win, 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 right? And how do you win in life, right? I'm just was sitting here thinking about that after I have done about 9 meetings already this week with various members of my team and organizations that I'm a part of. And you have to ask yourself an honest question. Am I winning? And what does win look like? Because a lot of people say I'm winning, but how do you measure that? Right. So it's always an interesting question because we throw out a lot of terms that we say is I'm a winner, or you might think I'm a loser. But what standard are you judging that by? Right? Who told you that? Right? Did you compare yourself with somebody that was incomparable? So, for example, if I'm comparing myself to a billionaire, Elon Musk, yeah, I'm probably going to feel like a loser, right? Because Elon Musk is by definition uh, a winner. If I were to compare myself to Mother Teresa, who cared for the people that most of us would walk over, I might not be considered a winner. But if I compare myself to where I started from, what I began with, and what I have been able to do with my gifts, my talents, my experience, my relationships, that's how you measure winning and losing. Did I set a goal? Have I reached that goal? Social media throws us into this arena of comparison. Your profile versus my profile, your food versus my food, right? Your vacation versus my vacation, my doing every day versus your doing every day. And it is so easy for you to feel like you're not winning. And the reason that is that most people are not putting their entire life on social media. You're not seeing everything about it, right? Going back to Elon Musk, you don't see everything about his life. You might look at some parts of his life and go, man, he's not winning there. He might be winning in Tesla and some things here, but I'm not sure if he's winning there. We hear about, Bill Gates suddenly getting a divorce. Is that winning? It's not winning because now you have a marriage that has fallen apart for whatever reason, whether it was, I hear different rumors about it that, oh, it was contrived and, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is it's a problem, right? I don't mind being a problem for good, but I don't want to be a problem for a negative. So before you say all I do is win or all I do is lose, make sure that you have a reasonable comparable. The great Pat Riley, many of you may not know who he was, but Pat Riley was one of the best NBA coaches who coached Magic Johnson, Kareem, and some of the old school great legendary players in the NBA. And Pat understood one thing. I'm in a room with a bunch of egos, a bunch of talent, and a bunch of ability, and they are measuring themselves against each other. And that's how they determine if they're good. That's how they determine if they're winning. And Pat Riley came up with an amazing strategy. You should really go look up Pat Riley because he's a great legend in sports history, especially coaching, the NBA championship Lakers. Pat came up with a system that made the players compete with themselves. So if Magic made 30 free throws yesterday, Magic would be competing with himself to make 35 free throws. Magic wouldn't be competing with James Worthy, okay, or some of the other players on the team. Magic will be competing with Magic. You ought to be competing with you, not with somebody else. It is hard to measure and stand up when you're comparing your life to someone else. And the reason is because you don't have the full picture. I remember years ago in sports, Mark McGwire, and he broke Ted Cobb's record and several others' record by the most home runs. And everybody was comparing him to the greats and all the things he was done. And it was phenomenal, right, to see him hit all those runs. But what we found out about Mr. McGwire, that he had some help. We didn't have the full picture. We found out that Mr. McGwire was getting some help from some drugs that was enhancing his ability to do that. So if you're a kid playing college and you're trying to look at that through your natural talent, how do you measure up to that? Because he's using enhancing drugs to do what he's doing. Okay. I have learned this in the realm of business. This wasn't even really my topic today, but I'm having such fun talking about this winning thing because it really is so important to people. I had friends that had Bentleys, Lambos, Ferraris, and they were flush with cash. And I just felt like a loser compared to them because I was just going to work every day, getting my little pay and my little check every 2 weeks and having my title, and I'm feeling good. They're rolling up with, you know, Hummers and big homes on the island and so forth. And I didn't feel like a winner. But I also didn't have the full picture. I was looking at the daylight of their lives. I wasn't looking at the nightlife of their lives. Okay. So when you're on social media, you're looking at the summer of people's lives. Life is in seasons, right? Winter, spring, summer, or fall. That's how we live. Most people in social media only going to post the summers of their life. They're not going to post what they look like at 7 o'clock in the morning before they put their makeup on. They're not going to post how they were sick, ill, and not feeling well. They're not going to post that because that's winter. They don't want you to see that. So how do you have the complete picture of somebody's life when you only see summer, right? As best you can do is compare your summer to their summer. But if their summer really is driven by their spring, they had a great spring life, right? They won the lottery, or they hit it big, or they had a big year in real estate or finance, man, they're going to have a great summer. You were grinding it out. So I hope you're getting my point, because I think many of us are falling into this trap of trying to compete when we don't have the full pictures. We're finding out that on Instagram, people that have 1 million followers, they bought half those followers. Those are not organic people. They bought them. All right. So if you want to win, the way you win is you have to compete as Pat Riley did with his team. Make yourself compete with yourself. How well did I do last year? Right. Every week I have a task list. You can kind of see it here. It's kind of my task list. Right. And I go through my task list. And when I'm done with my week, I give myself a score. Like last week, I got a 90%. Maybe you can see that. I got a 90%. Right. Okay. So that's how I compete. I compete with how did I do last week? Right. And then I measure that. And then I give my score. I'm not concerned about what somebody's doing on Facebook, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. None of that has to do with how I'm measuring my day. So find a great measuring tool for your life. And you may find when you do that, you're actually winning in a lot more areas than you think. If you're a good mom out there and you're taking care of your kids, you're winning. You're a good dad out there and you're showing up, taking care of your kids, going to softball games, soccer games, you're winning. If you're a business or a manager taking care of your staff and employees, you're winning. None of that shows up on Facebook. When's the last time you've seen anything like that? Hey, this is a good mom. Awesome. She's winning. You know, this guy's a good supervisor. He's winning. Nah, we don't see that. We see the person going to Turks and Calico in a private jet. That's who we say is winning. But let me just tell you, I've been in some of those rooms with some of those people. They are some of the most unhappy and miserable people on the planet at times because they have deficiencies in their own life. They're winning over here. Over here is all summer, but there's a lot of winter over here that nobody ever sees and nobody talks about. So have a balanced perspective on your life. And so you can truly say, all I do is win. Right? I can say that all I do is win because I have a measurement to it every single week. And I know I'm winning. And then I may have a week where I didn't get 90. I got 63. I didn't win that week. Something distracted me or disrupted you. So my challenge to you today is find a measuring tool that measures you, first of all, against you, not anybody else. Then you can ascertain if you're winning. then you can ascertain where you need to improve and how you need to go forward. And I'll talk a little bit more the next time about my task list, because a lot of people ask me about that and how I do that. But I just think this thing about winning is important, and defining what winning really is in everyday life and not in Hollywood life or entertainment life or sports life or different things. Because if you don't have the full picture of what you're comparing yourself to, then it's an unfair comparison, right? It's unfair deal. Hey, this is Lewis Howard. I love to inspire people. We'll see you again on another episode of Inspirational Recipes